We're the ones. Do you have people with great potential in your life that's unmotivated? They may be your kids, they may be your students, they may be your friends or your family members. And you know if this person was motivated, they could do great things. And you're trying to figure out ways in which you can motivate them. What's up, it's Gene. This is Word to Be Great. In this video, I want to talk to you about how to motivate the unmotivated. And I'm going to give you 3 ways you can do so by sharing a college experience I had with a very unmotivated person. When I was a sophomore in college, I took what was called spring term, and it was like 2 months of classes. And the thing about spring term is you got to live in a dorm, but you had no idea who your roommate was going to be. And I remember when I moved to the dorm, and I could not believe my eyes when I walked in the door. My roommate was a guy who was literally over 450 pounds. He walked up, he shook my hand, he introduced himself. His name was Dan. And we hardly talked to each other. We just went to class, we came home. And I remember one particular night, Dan was in the living room watching television, and I decided to go in the living room as well. And he had a big bucket of chicken. And I never forget this like it was yesterday. And he was just eating his chicken. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, this guy is a big guy. He's not very healthy. I wasn't trying to judge him. I had nothing against him. I didn't say anything. But as soon as the movie went off, he looked at me and said, man, I know. I need to lose weight, man. I got too much weight on my body. You know, my mama died because she was obese. I think she had heart issues or something like that. I don't want to die like that. I know I have to lose this weight. I said, listen, man, I'm not trying to judge, but have you tried exercising or any of those things? He said, you know, I've tried, but I wasn't successful at it. I said, okay. He said, you know, another thing I wanted to say to you, I noticed that you're getting up in the morning at like 5 in the morning. Where are you going, Gene? Are you going to work? I said, no. I'm actually going to the gym. I have these hoop dreams, and I'm going to the gym, and I'm shooting jump shots. I'm dribbling basketball. I'm working on my basketball skills because I'm playing on a team. He said, that is you. I said, what are you talking about? He said, man, one day I went up to the gym, and I was going to go in there and try to work out on some of the machines. I didn't know what I was doing. I heard a basketball bouncing, and I thought the team was in their practice that early in the morning. So I walked up there. It was dark in the gym. I couldn't see anybody. And I looked down. And I saw this guy dribbling a basketball and shooting by himself. And I said to myself, I have so much respect for that guy. I have no idea who that is. And now you're sitting in front of me. So I'm telling you, man, I have so much respect for you that you have the motivation to really be able to do that. So then I did the first thing you must do if you want to motivate the unmotivated. I decided to use active listening. I looked at Dan and I said, so you saying that you know you need to lose weight because your mama died of like heart issues and you don't want to die the same way, am I correct? He said, absolutely. So I asked him, what are you doing right now to try to make some changes? He said, I haven't been doing anything. I don't know what to do. It is so hard to go in the gym when you don't know how to use the machines. You don't know what to do. So I did the second thing you must do if you want to motivate the unmotivated, and that's to show empathy. And I said, I can see how it can be very daunting to walk into a gym with all this equipment. You don't know what to do, and you have all this weight on your body you're trying to lose. I can see how that can be so very daunting and to get discouraged because you're not using anything. Am I correct? He said, absolutely, man. I don't know how to use the equipment. I don't want people staring at me. So it's very hard for me to do so. So I said, let me ask you this. You say you see me going to the gym, you see me practicing, and you have so much respect for that. Why do you respect that? He said, because you have the motivation to actually make it happen. I said, so you're telling me you're not motivated. He said, I'm not as motivated as you are. I said, let me ask you this. Are you not motivated because you don't know how to use the gym equipment? Or are you not motivated because you just do not want to try to lose the weight? He said, to be honest with you, I'm not motivated because I don't know how to use the gym equipment. I don't want to embarrass myself. This is the third thing I want to encourage you to do when you're trying to deal with a very unmotivated person. And that is to encourage them to take simple action. I said, now, you know I go to the gym at 5 a.m. and you know I'm going to go shoot basketball. Do you think you can get up in the morning at least 2 days out the week and walk over to the gym? You know, when I'm in there practicing, and you know we got that concrete track that's over the gym, can you walk that about 2 or 3 times? He said, I can do that, but I can't get up at 5 a.m. I said, how about 6 a.m.? He said, I can do 6. So what Dan started doing, he started coming in there on Mondays and Tuesdays. He would walk up to the gym at 6 a.m. and I would see him walking at the top of the gym, and he had a big old jug of water in his hand. And I would look at him and we'll point at each other, just acknowledge each other. And he did that for the next 2 months. At the end of that spring semester, he graduated. 2 years later, I finally graduated from college myself. And as I was walking out of the building with my mom and my daddy and my siblings, somebody tapped me on the shoulder. And I turned around and it was Dan. Dan had lost 250 pounds. You see, the reason Dan had lost that weight is because he became motivated. By him getting up those 2 days out the week, starting out, it allowed him to build momentum. It allowed him to develop confidence in himself and keep going. And when you have somebody in your life that's unmotivated and you want to motivate them, you have to realize that the only way you're going to be able to do so is you have to understand why that person is not motivated. And when that individual talks to you, you want to use active listening. You want to repeat what that person is saying back to them and get confirmation before you start speaking more. Because when you use that active listening, it let that person feel heard. When you use the active listening, it'll help you get to the root of that unmotivation. And when you start to figure out what that is, it will give you the opportunity to show empathy. When you show empathy to other people, it helps them to be understood and they're willing to listen to you more. And when you do the third thing, and that's encourage them to take simple actions, then you can help them to build a momentum and a confidence to reach their goals. So I want to encourage you to start motivating the unmotivated because you are worthy to be great. If you like this video, I want to ask you to like and share this video. Also hit that bell so anytime I post a video, you are notified. I also want to ask you to join my Word to Be Great newsletter. This newsletter is designed to help you build your self-worth, self-discipline, self-confidence so you can achieve your goals and dreams. So click the link below and join my newsletter today.